The jungles of Vietnam were a nightmare unlike anything American soldiers had faced before. It wasn't the firefights, the snipers, or even the heat that got to them first. It was the silence between gunshots, the terrifying realization that they weren't fighting an army, they were fighting the jungle itself. The Viet Cong didn't need superior weapons. They used the terrain and fear as their greatest allies. These are five of the most disturbing, psychologically devastating, and absolutely savage traps and tactics the Viet Cong used against US soldiers during the Vietnam War. Let's start with the infamous Punji pit, carefully engineered traps designed to maim, not just kill, and to leave lasting trauma. Suddenly, a soldier could vanish from sight, swallowed by a pit hidden under a thin layer of jungle debris. Inside lay sharpened bamboo spikes, angled to ensure maximum damage on the way down. The horror didn't stop there. The spikes were often smeared with human feces or rotting meat, leading to infections that claimed lives days later. One wounded soldier meant at least two more had to carry him, draining morale and forcing medics into harrowing decisions. Next, the Venus flytrap, a grotesque name for a spring-loaded spike trap, set to gut a man from the pelvis up. Imagine a young soldier taking a cautious step, and suddenly he's screaming on the jungle floor. The trap often caused instant paralysis or massive internal bleeding, leading to a psychological horror that stayed with survivors long after. Then there were the booby-trapped homes, also known as door traps. The Viet Cong turned familiarity into fatality, wiring grenades to doors and hiding explosives in everyday objects. Sometimes the explosive was set on a delay, so by the time soldiers entered, relaxed, and let their guard down, boom. Number 4, the snake in a can, where the Viet Cong used venomous snakes as a terrifying psychological tactic. Soldiers became so paranoid they'd check their boots, canteens, and mess kits for movement every morning. And finally, the toe popper, designed to explode when pressure was applied, aimed to maim and create chaos. The Viet Cong didn't have superior firepower. They had patience and an intimate knowledge of the terrain. They used fear as a weapon, knowing every wounded soldier slowed down a unit and drained morale. The Vietnam War was fought not just in firefights, but in the space between footsteps, in the sound of silence after a scream. For many US soldiers, the scars of war were not just physical, they were psychological, deep, lasting, and invisible. Because in Vietnam, war wasn't just about bullets, it was about fear. And sometimes, fear is the most effective weapon of all.